Good morning, good morning, good morning. Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. The noise has settled, the closing bell has rung, and the dust is finally clear on one of our most volatile weeks so far this year. Yesterday, we saw Microsoft take the second largest loss in history, wiping out over $350 billion in market cap, while Apple and Meta proved that the AI cash machine is still printing. But while retail traders are sleeping, we're looking at the bones of the market. We're charting the trillion-dollar tickers to see where the smart money is positioning for February. I look up the charts, I give you the breaking news, so you don't have to. Just tune in, and I got you. It's Saturday morning. Let's work. This is the trillion-dollar ticker family legacy mantra. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I am building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I am the master of all I command. My learning is limitless. My earnings are too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable, I am skilled, I am bold. Blessings on my journey as the vision unfolds. So we're going to check out these trillion-dollar tickers, y'all. But before we do that, we're going to read our daily law from Robert Greene. Today is January 31st, 2026. And the law says, the source of all power. Self-discovery is foundational for fulfilling your purpose. All individuals are born with a unique genetic makeup, which manifests as primal inclinations. This uniqueness is a seed planted at birth, representing your life's tasks, which is your purpose. Fulfilling this task requires nurturing your individuality. Establish your own identity. Create a distinct style that separates you from those who came before you. All right, let's check out some of these market caps after such a big week. NVDA, number one, 4.65 trillion, followed by Google, 4.08 trillion, Apple, 3.83 trillion, Microsoft, 3.19 trillion, Amazon, 2.55 trillion, Meta, 1.81 trillion, TSM, 1.71 trillion, Tesla, 1.61 trillion, AVGO, 1.57 trillion, and Berkshire B, 1.03 trillion, y'all. All right. Let's see what we got. NVIDIA. Let's go on a daily chart, y'all. That's what we got for NVIDIA on a daily chart. This week, it actually broke out of our daily resistance trend line. As you can see, it broke out right here. And then it retested, and then it bounced. So that's very bullish to the upside. Very nice retest on resistance. I do have this weekly level here at 190.10. And yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good for NVIDIA, y'all. It did break this previous high, so that's good. Even though it was only a little bit, it did break this previous high. So as far as market structure, it broke this previous higher high. So we have a new higher high here. So if it does end up pulling back, it may bounce on this trend line again, or it may end up bouncing on this trend line. But as far as market structure, as long as it doesn't break underneath here, which is our new higher low, as long as it doesn't break this, then the higher high, higher low market structure will continue to the upside. Okay, so I have the current price at 191.13. Current support level to the downside, we have 190.10, followed by our trend lines. But the next level is going to be 183.20, followed by 178.10. And then to the upside, you have this previous higher high resistance, which is 193.72, followed by 199 and 202. 199 and 200 is basically the same, because 200 is going to be a psychological level. So you could count 199 and 200 as the same thing. Okay, so that's what we got on NVIDIA. Let's check out the algo. Let's see what the algo says for NVIDIA, y'all. All right, NVIDIA, the most recent signal we got was on Wednesday. We got a strong buy on Wednesday. So Thursday did see some downside, but it did not close underneath the stop loss. So if you had held on, you would have hit TP1 and almost TP2, y'all. So this trade is still good. So you're only 39 cents underneath the entry, but the stop loss is going to be 189.84. So if it closes underneath 189.84 on a daily chart, then you need to get out of this trade. If not, the upside, the first target is 193.20, followed by 194.88 and 196.56 TP3, y'all. Okay. So if we check out my resistance lines, TP2 is our weekly level here at, oh, actually, it just went off. Okay. So TP, my daily level here at 193.80 is in between these two, so it's going to be a lot of resistance in this area between TP1 and TP2. Okay, so let's take that off and let's check out some of the technicals, y'all. Around a daily, we got a strong buy on the moving averages. We got a buy on the summary. And we got neutral on the oscillators. On a weekly, we got a strong buy on the moving averages. We got a buy on the summary. We got neutral on the oscillators. On the monthly, same thing. We got a strong buy on the moving averages. We got a buy on the summary and a neutral on the oscillators. Forecast. In the past 3 months, 73 analysts have given NVIDIA, out of 73 analysts, 57 gave a strong buy. So that is the majority gave a strong buy. And then as far as the price targets, out of 60 analysts given a 1-year price target, the current price is 191.13. The average out of these 60 gave a 260 price target. The highest price target was 432.78, and the lowest price target was 140. Looks good to me, y'all. All right. Next, let's go to Google, the second most valuable company in the world. So I'll go ahead and draw Google. I'm not going to draw each one because it's going to take too long. So what we like to do, we like to go to the weekly chart. and see where the price react. As you can see, price ran up here, and this is where it stopped. We'll go ahead and roll that up, and then price bounced right here. So if you put on a line chart, it's way easier to see, because you can always go to the candlestick chart and make more lines. But it's just easier to see. You see how clear that is? This is where price rejected. This is where price bounced. All right. And then we go to the daily and we can look for more. We had a clear bounce right here. So we'll put the daily on there. Go ahead and roll that down. And then we had this big rejection right here. Okay, let's go ahead and roll that up. Alright. One more. There we are. Go ahead and roll that down. It's very close to all-time high, so it's not too much going on with Google, y'all. Okay, so that's what I got for Google. Let's see if we have any trend lines we can draw. Earnings next week, y'all. Earnings next week for Google. NVDA does not have earnings coming up until later in February. So, but Google has the next week. That's why I didn't point it out for NVIDIA. Okay, let's see what we got. Do we got a trend line that we can draw right here? From here? Yes, we do. There we are. That's support. And then, of course, resistance is going to be the all-time high here. But I think we can draw a resistance trend line here as well. Yep, looks good. Okay, so Google's almost at all-time highs, y'all. So, and this is a bullish hammer candle on Friday. So it's not really too much to Google. It's almost at all-time highs. If it has a great earnings next week on Wednesday, they definitely expect it to be in the all-time high area. All right, let's check out the technicals, y'all. On the daily, we got a strong buy on the moving averages. We got a buy on the summary. We got a buy on the oscillators. On the weekly, we got a strong buy on the moving averages. We got a strong buy on the summary. We got neutral on the oscillators. On the monthly, we got a strong buy on the moving averages. We got a buy on the summary. We got a buy on the oscillators. Google looking very strong, y'all. On the forecast, out of 78 analysts over the past 3 months, 60 of them gave buys. So strong buy is the average. And then as far as the price targets, 67 analysts who gave a 1-year price target. The current price is $338. The average price target is $348, with the highest one being $432 and the lowest one being $273. Wow, where did that? I don't remember seeing that last week when we talked about Google. I do not remember there being a 19% to the downside price target. I do not remember that at all. Wow, that's interesting, y'all. But that's what it says. All right, let's check out the algo. See what the algo says. Algo, we had a buy back here on January 7th. It did hit TP1 and TP2. And it's headed to TP3, y'all. Everything green on the board here. So it's looking great. Great call by the algo. All right, next we have Apple. We have Apple, y'all. Let's see what we got on Apple. Apple, let's see. Okay. Apple been falling heavy since December 3rd. It bounced on the trend line, and it did close above our weekly level here. I got a weekly level here at 258. It did close above that. Let's see. Yeah. So it did have a great earnings. Apple just had earnings on Thursday. As you can see, it beat by 6% on earnings, by almost 4% on revenue. So it's looking good on earnings, y'all. So I got Apple to the upside. So on Monday, I got some support here at 258. If it does end up coming down and rejecting and turning this into resistance, I do got it coming down to our support level here. Actually, let me check out the line chart. Okay, so based on this bounce right here, which brought it back up here, I definitely want to put a level right there. If that makes sense, y'all. That's why I put that right there. Alright. So if we do have, as you can see, where it bounced. And I just drew that. Remember? Off of this? I drew that off of this. And then when I went to candles, that's exactly where it bounced. As you can see how the line charts and the candlesticks correlate with each other. Okay, so if it ends up breaking down this weekly level, I do got some support here at 252. Then if it ends up breaking that as well, I do have my diagonal trend line here, followed by our support at 245.30. If it does end up going to the upside next week, we do have our resistance here, our diagonal resistance, and also our trend line. Also our resistance trend line here. So yeah, that's like double resistance. So it may reject this level here at 266 next week. That doesn't mean it won't break through after it rejects, but we do got double resistance right there, y'all. So if it does end up breaking through that level next week, following resistance, I have 273, y'all. I don't expect it to break both of these resistance levels in 1 week. If it does, we can put one more. We can put one more resistance level right here based on this reaction here. And I'm gonna go ahead and roll it down to the nearest 10 cent. Here we are. Okay, so that's our levels for Apple, y'all. To the upside, we got resistance. We got 266.20, 273.70, and 277.80. Okay, let's check out the algo. Okay, so we got a buy on the algo on Tuesday. The price was $259.48. It did not hit TP1. It actually bounced on the stop loss. So had you been in there, you'll be right back at the entry. So you'll be right back at break even. You had a couple days of pressure, and then you really got scared when it came down to the stop loss. But if you didn't get out, because you got to wait for it to close underneath the stop loss. That's how this algo works. So you'll be right back at break even. So I think we got an entry. If you want an entry on Apple on the daily, let's check out the 4 hour just to be sure. Let's see. We had a strong buy on Monday, but that was in the pre-market. So yeah, I got Apple to the upside next week. If that makes sense, y'all. Price target 266.78. Yep, and that lines up. Price target 266.78. That lines up with our inflection point from our daily resistance diagonal trend line and our horizontal trend line. So yeah, that lines up perfectly. All right, next let's check out the technicals, y'all. On the daily, we got a buy. That's looking good. On the weekly, we got a buy. It's looking good. On the monthly, we got a strong buy on the moving averages. We got a buy on the summary. We got a neutral on the oscillators. So it's looking good on Apple, y'all. All right, out of 50 analysts over the past 3 months, 23 gave a buy. So the majority gave a buy signal in the past 3 months for Apple. Current price is $259.48. The average of these 39 analysts who gave 1 year price targets, the average price target is 14% to the upside. The highest one is 35% to the upside, and the lowest one is 21% to the downside, y'all. So that is what the analysts have to say. All right, let's check out Microsoft. Oh, Microsoft. Microsoft had earnings here. So it did beat on earnings. It beat by 6%. And then on revenue, it beat a little over 1%. But as you can see, it still fell. Microsoft still fell, y'all. So this is a previous gap from this earnings here in May. It gapped up. So we are back to these levels here. So it did bounce on the gap, but it's still looking very bearish for Microsoft. So, but this is one of the best companies in the world. This is one of the most quality companies you're gonna find, and it is one of our $1 trillion tickers. It's the 4th most valuable company in the world, and it's trading at a big discount right now. So if you want to buy Apple, let's see what type of, if you want to buy Microsoft, you will be buying it at a 22% discount, y'all. You do not get quality companies like Microsoft at a 22% discount for very long. So I just have to let y'all know that. Yes, it is an expensive stock, but the security in owning a stock like Microsoft is much more than a risky stock. You know how many companies this company has acquired over the years? This is one of the strongest companies in the world, y'all. I think it's a lot of the open AI. They had ended up getting that big position in open AI before they recalibrated the deal. But OpenAI gonna have to show proof that they're as valuable as they were saying, because the competition is very strong. A lot of competition from Google. So OpenAI's edge is shrinking every day. And because Microsoft is such a big investor in OpenAI, I think that's part of the reason why Microsoft is selling off. But it's on big discount right now, y'all. So I think if you want to do a leap on Microsoft, maybe a June 27 or a 28, a January 28 on Microsoft, you could definitely do right at the gap. You could really do a 500 Microsoft leap and not have no worries. If that's too far out the money for you, that would be $70 out the money, so that is kind of far, but it is a leap. So if you want to do 450 Microsoft, just gotta check the open interest and see. But yeah, one of the most valuable companies in the world, man. Definitely. It may act like Meta, because remember last time Meta, they had earnings and they had a big drop like this. It was actually bigger than this, and then the following earnings, it gapped up. So we may see Microsoft gap up next earnings. But we'll see, y'all. All right, let's check out the algo. Check out the algo. So, oh yeah, so normally when companies have a big gap down or gap up, it does confuse the algo. So I'm not going to go too heavy on this sell. It's like an automatic sell because it gapped down that much. But if you do want to follow the algo, 433 was the entry, with 424 being TP1, 415 being TP2, and 406 being TP3. All right, let's check out the technicals, y'all. The daily, strong sell on the moving averages, strong sell on the summary, sell on the oscillators. On the weekly, we got a strong sell on the moving averages, we got a sell on the summary, we got neutral on the oscillators. On the monthly, we got a buy on the moving averages, we got neutral. On the summary, we got a sell on the oscillators. On the forecast, we got a strong buy out of 64 analysts over the past 3 months. 53, the majority says strong buy. So the current price is 430 out of 52 analysts with a 1-year price target. There are no analysts that have a price target underneath where it's at right now for a 1-year price target. So if you want to do that leap, then the analysts are agreeing that it's definitely going to be up. It should be up. Let me not say definitely. But the minimum price target for 1 year is going to be 450, with the average being 605 and the maximum being 730. So if you got that 500 leap on Microsoft, and just say the average analyst is correct, and we hit 606 in 1 year, and your leap is a year and a half, you'll be making a lot of bread, y'all. A lot of bread. So that's what we got from Microsoft. Next, let's check out Amazon. Amazon has earnings next week, y'all. Amazon got earnings next week. All right, so since I didn't draw Microsoft, I'm going to go ahead and draw Amazon here. So let's go to the weekly chart. Let's go to the line chart. Let's see what we got. Where did price have a big reaction? That is how we do it. That's how we find our levels. All right. Let's go ahead and round that down. So we got a 213 weekly level. We had a big reaction here to the downside. So we'll go ahead and put our weekly level right there. Go ahead and round that down. All right, there's a lot of chop in this area. A lot of chop in this area. I think I'll put one more weekly level right here based on these two. So based on this and this and this, that's why I put this weekly level right here. All right, so let's go to the daily, see what we got. We got this up here clearly. Big reaction, big price reaction right here, y'all. Let's see. Yep, right here. Daily. Go ahead and roll that down. So this is based on this reaction, and this reaction. That's why I put this line right there. Okay. And then we got one more to the downside. Okay, let me go ahead and roll that up to the nearest 10 cent. Okay, so I put this line here based on this reaction, this chop area, this reaction, and this chop area. That's why I put this line right there. Okay, we did have a big reaction here as well, so we'll put a daily level right there. Okay. Yeah, that's what we got. We can go ahead and put the all-time high on here as well for Amazon. Okay, so that's what we got on Amazon. We got earnings next week. Current price $239.30. So based on market structure here, this was the previous higher high at 248.92. It did get close, but it did not break it. It did not break it. So this is now going to be a lower high. So it needs to break this level in order for me to believe that there's more upside on Amazon. So based on market structure, we are bullish. We are bearish because it did not break this previous higher high. Now, as far as the lower move, so as long as it stays above this level here, 227, then I believe it has a chance to go back to the upside. But if this breaks this low here, so this is a higher low based on this. This was the lower low, and then this was a higher low. So as long as it doesn't break this, then that is bullish. But if it breaks this, then Amazon will see some downside. So it's basically in between these levels right now. I don't believe that we're bullish until we break this level. All right, let's see what else. Do we got any trend lines we can draw? We may have some trend lines we can draw here. Let's see. Nah, I don't like that one. What about this one? Yep, that looks better. Alright, here we go. That's our support trend line. Now let's see if we can find a resistance trend line based on previous price action. Yep, that's what I see right here. Okay, so that's our support line. That's our resistance trend line. All right, so to the downside for Amazon, I got some support here at 234.40, followed by our diagonal trend line. If it ends up breaking both of those, we do have this support here at 226.50. To the upside, we have this resistance at 244.40, followed by our diagonal trend line, and then 249.10. All right, so that's what I see on Amazon. Let's check out the algo. What do we got for the algo, y'all? We got a buy on Tuesday. We had a buy on Tuesday. The entry price was 244.68. We got faked out though. It ended up coming down. It did hit the stop loss, but it did not close underneath the stop loss. So if you were following this, you would still be in the trade. You will be feeling some pressure right now. You would be down $5.38 from the entry, but you would still be in the trade. It did hit the stop loss twice, once on Thursday, once on Friday, but you would be here. So as long as it doesn't close under 238, you are good with this signal. Let's see if we have a more recent signal here on the 4 hour. We did get a signal here, but it was in the pre-market. This was at 5 a.m. on Thursday. So that is our 4 hour signal. It was a sell, and it is at 238.98. First target being 234.78. All right, so that's what we got on the algo. Let's check out the technicals. On the daily, we got a strong buy on the moving averages. We got a buy on the summary. We got neutral on the oscillators. On the weekly, we got a strong buy on the moving averages. We got a buy on the summary. We got a buy on the oscillators. On the monthly, we got a strong buy on the moving averages. We got a strong buy on the summaries. We got a buy on the oscillators. So we are looking strong. We are looking strong, y'all. All right, so the analysts, 74 analysts over the past 3 months, 60 of them, that's the majority, gave Amazon a strong buy, y'all. All right, current price, $239. Out of 63 analysts, they gave a 1-year price target. The average price target is $298, y'all. So that is 24.5% to the upside, with the highest price target being $360 and the lowest price target being $230. So if you want to get into a leap, maybe a June 2027 or a January 2028, there's a lot of potential upside, y'all. A lot of potential upside on Amazon. All right, next ticker we got is TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor. Let me go back to the daily, y'all. Here we go. All right, so do have this gap underneath. So let's see. Right now we are at 330.56. See a lot of bearish candles up in here. Once we hit this all-time high, bearish, bearish, bearish. But maybe we're finding some support here, which is our zone from our previous all-time high. This looks like we're building some support here at our level here, 327.10. As long as it doesn't break this 327.10, then we are good back to the upside. But if it does break this level, then I do see us coming down here to this 318. If this 318 does not hold, then we will be coming back to this gap at 311. So that's what I see on TSM. To the upside, let's see. Yeah, to the upside, we got 342, y'all. But it's looking kind of bearish. It's looking kind of bearish after this rejection here on this Wednesday candle. But it is very close to our support here. So if you were to get into a trade based on this support, you do have a nice risk to reward ratio. Let's see. Okay, let's say you were to get into here. I'll turn this magnet off. Let's say you were to get in this trade based on this. So if this is your risk right here on TSM, you're like, man, I know there's some support right here based on when this pulled back to here. I know there's some support right here, so this is where my stop loss is going to be. As long as it doesn't break under this, that means it did not break this support. So to the upside, let's see what we got, y'all. This is almost a 3.5 to 1 risk to reward trade. So if we just put the trade back here where it previously dropped, then we got it's a 3 to 1 risk to reward for TSM, y'all. So that's what I see. That's what I see on TSM. All right, let's check out the algo. All right, on the algo, we haven't had a signal here for a while. Had a strong buy back here in December. But it looks like, you know, when it comes to this algo, after it hits all 3 take profits, it will create another entry. So this is the second entry, because the first entry would have been at the top of this candle here at 302. So this is the second entry at 319. And it looks like it hit 1, 2, all 3 price targets before hitting the all-time high and pulling back. So basically, after it hit this all-time high, it's just been consolidated in this area, y'all. So let's see if we have any more recent signals from the algo. We did get a sell here in the pre-market on Thursday at 5 a.m. This entry was, well, we did get a close here, a close signal when the market was open. But this entry was 335.36 with the take profit of 326. And as you can see, this take profit is exactly on our support level. So most likely, if it does go down here, it's going to bounce, y'all. All right, so that's what I see on TSM. Let's check out the technicals. On the daily, we got a buy, neutral. On the weekly, we got a strong buy on the moving averages. We got a buy on the summary, and we got a buy on the oscillators. On the monthly, we got a strong buy on the moving averages. We got a strong buy on the summary. We got a neutral on the oscillators. Check out the forecast, y'all. So out of 49 analysts over the past 3 months, 39, that's the majority, gave a strong buy. Out of 17 analysts giving a 1-year price target, the current price is 330. The average price target is 412.90, y'all. The highest price target being 520, and the lowest price target being 56 cents under where it's at. So that's looking very bullish, y'all. It's looking very bullish on TSM. All right. I think that's it for today, y'all. I will do the other companies tomorrow. How many companies? We did 6 companies today. 6 of the $1 trillion tickers. And we'll do 4 of the $1 trillion tickers tomorrow. And we'll probably do QQQ and SPY to round it out, y'all. But thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to everybody on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. I am your host, MattRiches. This is the show, $1 trillion Tickers. We live stream every day in the morning. If the market is closed, we'll do charting. If the market is open, we will be live for pre-market levels, market open, and breaking news. All right. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom.